Part 2. You will hear a coordinator talking to a group of residents about a new community garden project called the Green Hub. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hello, good evening everyone. Thank you all for coming out on such a rainy Tuesday night. I know there was a mix-up with the lack of seats at our last meeting, but thankfully we have plenty of chairs today. I do need to apologise, however, because the heating system broke down this morning, so please keep your coats on if you're feeling chilly. At least the sound system is working perfectly this time, so you should all be able to hear me clearly. We've also arranged for some hot tea and coffee at the back to help keep you warm. So, let me give you a brief background. The Green Hub isn't just about planting flowers, it's about reclaiming urban space. Now, regarding who can join, we want to be as inclusive as possible. Initially, we considered only accepting people living in the immediate neighbourhood, but we realised that goes against our community spirit. So, whether you live right next door or you take the bus from the other side of the town, you are welcome to sign up as a member. Children are definitely encouraged to visit and help out, but actual membership is restricted to adults for insurance purposes. Another practical point is funding. People often ask if we are sponsored by the railway company since we use their land, but they only provide the space, not the cash. We also applied for a government grant last year, but unfortunately, we weren't successful. So currently, we are relying entirely on the small monthly contributions from our members to keep things running. However, we do have some good news. We approached a local garden centre to ask if they could provide some expert advice and training, but they simply didn't have the staff to spare. Instead, they have generously promised to supply all the seeds and compost we need for our first season. They can't offer us any financial support, but getting those materials for free is a huge relief. I also want to touch on the time commitment. We don't expect you to be here every single weekend. We asked for a pledge system. Some gardening groups ask for 4 hours a week, which is too much for most people. We simply ask for a minimum of 4 hours a month. You can do that all in one Saturday afternoon, or spread it out. It's completely flexible to fit around your life.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Right, let's move on to the specific teams we need volunteers for. You don't need to be an expert gardener to help out. First up is the vegetable patch team. This is the core of our project. For this role, the most important thing isn't knowledge of plant nutrition. We can teach you that. What you really need is a good level of fitness. There is a lot of digging and heavy lifting involved, especially in the first few weeks as we prepare the soil. Next, we have the wildlife pond. We are creating a small ecosystem to attract frogs and insects. We need volunteers to monitor the water quality and the species that visit. You don't need a science degree for this, but you must have great attention to detail to notice small changes in the environment. It's a quiet, slow-paced role. Then there is the upcycling workshop. We plan to build all our planters and benches from recycled pallets. We are looking for people who are handy with tools. If you have any experience working with wood in the past, this would be the perfect fit for you. We need to make sure the structures are safe and sturdy. We also have a social and events team. We want to hold a summer barbecue and an autumn festival. If you join this team, you don't need artistic talent to draw posters. What we really need are strong planning abilities. You'll be managing budgets, booking bands, and making sure the events run strictly to schedule. Finally, there is the digital archive. We want to document the transformation of the garden. We need someone to run our website. You don't need to write long articles, but you absolutely must have skill with a camera, as we want to share high-quality images and videos of our progress with the public. Okay, does anyone have any questions so far?
That is the end of part 2. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to part 2.